Hello, welcome to this video where today we'll be talking about different stuff than the usual, somewhat quasi-financial related topics. And said, I guess it is still related because you have Nike, you have Puma, you have Adidas, you have startups, private firms like Umbro and Castor. But today, but today we'll be taking a look instead just at some soccer jerseys, football jerseys, I should say. That I think are pretty cool looking. We'll see how long my battery lasts. But as a programmer, I do want to do a stream to compare, your big three German auto manufacturers, just because it's area of personal interest, given of course they're financially accessible because of their ADRs, American Depository Receipts. At the same time, there's a interesting mix of tailwinds and headwinds. So it'll be fun to get a wrap around it. But that's for a future stream. But today's stream, we're just going to look at all of these soccer jerseys. Of course, there's this wonderful website, Football Kit Archive. I believe they have a basketball jersey website as well. But this is a great website, completely free to use, and it's like not user generated content because it's not the users who are making this stuff. But it's all of this stuff is it's a great repository of jerseys, as you can see, right? So to me, it's a great thing to look at. And so why not, since we're here, why not let's look through some of the best AC Milan kits. And one nice thing about this is you do get the of course it's user generated, so you get to see what the community thinks. And starting with Milan, of course, and Rossoneri. Yeah, so we'll probably bounce around to go down a list of clubs and very unstructured, and definitely implies the need for a part 2 video. But Milan starting off. So this season, I must scroll through. But this season, not the biggest fan of any of this season's jerseys. Like this one, like the joke when it leaked in the New York City's Puma store, is it looks like like a car ran over it, right? With tire marks, as you can see. So not biggest fan of that, especially when compared to this banger from last season. This one, I do like the asymmetry. I do appreciate that, but yeah, I think this one's a bit more pleasing. Of course, the issue with jerseys is that sometimes they don't come with the Scudetto. At least in Italy, in Serie A, if you win the Italian, you win the league, you get this crest in the middle to signify that. But in some of the jerseys I got, like this one I got, doesn't have that. This one I got did, so I think it really is pleasing. Like rule of thirds or rule of three. This third kit, generally third kits are probably the ones that are more interesting just because of the variety that you can toss into them, right? Of course, you have your consistent home scheme, your away scheme. But a third kit, some people seem to like it a lot, but to me it's a bit vague. Not the biggest fan of that kit. But overall, I've got to say that Milan, just like your broad color scheme of the red and black, I think is very appealing. And to that degree, I think, especially for the Puma era, I've got to say that this kit to me, it just looks very clean to me. Right? Crisp red and black lines, right? Compare that to say a previous season like this one, where it's the same structure, but it's a bit less clean, without like the clear, rectangular structure, in my view. And that's not to say, I do think the Adidas Milan kits, I think, have a strong appeal to them. Like this one, I think definitely has like a strong, crisp image. but of course those are at this point half a decade ago. But on that note of the kit, so this collaboration with Coach, uh, to me, this is like a legitimate, 5-star banger of a shirt right here. Like, like, yeah. So this was like, so it's a Coach and Rocket League collaboration. Of course, Rocket League, the car-based soccer football game. And to me, I mean, this kid. So you can kind of see it. So I suppose to the degree that I didn't like the racetracks. I suppose maybe this jersey, the details of how clubs get to decide their kit designs, it's a bit more intricate than you'd expect. I can't remember off the top of my head of like how far in advance the timelines go. I have to imagine, given production SKUs and all of that, there's a decent runway. But I'd have to imagine, right, if Puma is still the manufacturer, that this kit design had to have had some effect on the lovingly termed tire track kit of this 23-24 season. But this kit to me is just like, to me, extremely like pleasing to look at. So you got your red and black, but you have like your little, your bits infused in it. Your Wee Fox on the back. Of course, I mean it's an insurance company. Here we see Brahim Diaz, right? But red and black, right, goes with black, goes with a lot of colors, and just looks really smooth, right? Fits with Giroud, fits with Kalulu, fits with Hernandez, of course. Uh, so yeah, so I've got to say, this is one of the best, bar none. Like, sincerely, this would be my personal top 5 uh, football kits that are out there. It's such a. Maybe this will be the thumbnail. We'll see. But it's just an extremely pleasing shirt. The goalkeeper edition, whereas I think like the gold is also a banger. Right? You have like your nice collar. It's a bit less defined, but if you want to go for something that's a bit less flashy, you can go for it. But again, like either way, right, it's extremely elegant, extremely refined. So have your Emirates Fly Better, which I think for a shirt sponsor, I think is pretty iconic, or certainly accepted. So that's a lot of the Milan stuff I want to talk about. But again, just reinforce for some of these Adidas Milan, like these are also really clean. And of course, the 3 stripes, a bit tough to argue against that. Now, if we're going to other clubs that have iconic kits, of course, the joke with Paris Saint-Germain is that it's more of a fashion brand, right? To the degree, like as we see here, right, they're one of the few clubs or the only club that has the Jordan sponsorship, or Jordan as your quote unquote, or did have the Jordan quote unquote as your kit. Of course, when it comes to PSJ, whereas you have 2 eras you can think of, where you have the Accor, right, the hotel company. You have Qatar Airways as like the 2 eras of contemporary, and if it's Emirates. But I do think PSJ has some pretty nice banger kits. This season, this one's interesting. Might be a leak, but we'll keep an eye. But I think this one again, asymmetry is nice. But again, so fully aware that PSG is it's much more of a fashion statement per se. But this season, not a big fan of this one or this one. But I think a lot of that's just because of the comparison to what happened last season. I think like this kit design looks pretty clean. Like red, white stripes. Of course, it is Paris. It is Paris. It is France. The away kit, I think, of course, the exact same structure, but the color scheme is a bit different with the white. I think the white does look a bit better, in my personal assumption. The away can't argue against the personalization. Of course, there we see the Jordan again. This 21-22, I don't think either of the homes are that unique, right? I think some of their away kits, right, like the very slight pink transition, I think, is nice to look at. This third kit, I think black and gray, I think is the good one. Of course, and the Accor sponsor, right, is I think a very nice one, of course. Now, a common thing that has been levied against PSG has been the desire for them to go back to the tricolor structure of like 1, 2, 3, or like 1, 2, 3. It's like historically that's been a pretty common motif among the PSG jerseys of having like I forget the term. There's a French word for it, but like tricolor, like a certain structure to it. That they've recently gone away from, right? Like here they've gone away from it 21, 22, 22, 23, sort of, but not quite. Certainly not doing it this season, so it's common critique. But I've got to say, some of these older, a core PSG jerseys are quite bangers. None of these, I think, this one, the collar, you can't complain against that. I think this black one, you know, really, it's very French, but you have the Jordan. I think this one's a good banger. This all black as well, I think also looks good. I believe the PSG logo changed at some point, but yeah, this one I believe in one of the in this Champions League season, one of the like Liverpool PSG group stage matches was where both of them were pretty fun matches to watch. Home, a bit more variety. There was one shirt somewhere. This shirt, and you have this shirt, which I think is pretty iconic. I see it being worn. I think very again. You have a core. I think it's very pretty nice to look at. So that's PSG. Of course, it is to the degree that football jerseys have, and it's certainly fun to see football jerseys become more of like streetwear. It's good. This jersey, I think, to me is a pretty cool one. Of course, the votes. Yeah, it's always fun to see. I think this one again, like the tricolor structure, works out pretty well. I suppose we can go through the big clubs again. Football Kit Archive. It's a great website. They have a lot of if you want to find really small, right? It's all user generated, so you can dig around for your clubs. Real Madrid again, right? To the prior point of like you have your consistent color scheme, right? There's only so much you can do with an all white, all blanco, uh, all blanco color scheme. But 23, 24, the orange to me, I suppose it is gold, but doesn't strike out. I think this black kit I think does stick out. It's a very distinctive Real Madrid crest, right? The entire point of Real in front of for a Spanish team, right? Royal club. So Real Sociedad, Real Madrid, Real Zaragoza, Real Español in Catalonia, right? So it's very iconic, and that is the reason why some clubs have the crest, right? Those clubs I just mentioned, the reason they have the crown on their jerseys because of the king at a certain point when football was growing in Spain, or in an attempt to grow football in Spain, uh, declared those specific clubs as like royal clubs and allowed them to have the crown. And so that explains why it's like the Barcelona Espanyol rivalry, where Real Espanyol, right, have the crown, and of course Barca, which is somewhat emblematic of Catalonian separatism to the degree that you want to bestow upon it, is not. Again, I think like last season Real Madrid's kit a bit more clean, right? Very distinctive, right? I think like the light blue polishes it better. A collar, can never go wrong with that. similarly to, of course, 21-22 and the right against they're all white but still make it work. I think the away kit makes it a bit more engaging with the color scheme. I think it makes it a bit more engaging. Right, you can see Madrid in there. But I think when we think about Madrid, there's one jersey I think that is extremely iconic. When we think of Madrid, and we think of course, especially recently with the Ronaldo era at Madrid, and that would have to be. Of course, we have to scroll a bit back. This 1920, I think the gold plating, I think, very iconic, very pleasing. But the iconic Real Madrid moments that we all probably can think of is Ronaldo's bicycle kick against Juventus in the Champions League, wearing this jersey, right? You got your little Minecraft your pixel aesthetic that a lot of clubs, right? Like Liverpool's a way which we can take a look at, try to replicate. But this one's just clean. Again, right? Ronaldo, right? Iconic moment associated with this kid. Uh, I say like this kit, like their dragon kit, also has to be considered to be a banger. Of course, when you go to like various websites online, you'll see various like Porto jerseys, Real Madrid jerseys have like more intricate dragon designs, but it's like those are like fan made. But to the degree that this version is a legit one, does stand out. Moving on then, I guess to the aforementioned rival of Madrid is of course Barcelona. Of course, Barca, you have your couple eras. You have your UNICEF era versus your contemporary, Spotify, Rakuten, and Qatar Airways eras. Now, of course, I think the Spotify sponsor I think works pretty well in terms of performance on the field. The Rakuten era is probably more associated with unfortunate performances by Barca. Like, if we're being honest, you can kind of associate each of these seasons with a bad memory. Like 1920, that 8-2 defeat to Bayern, 18-19, 17-18, tough performances against Roma, and I believe another club. 2020, tough season under that Dutch coach, whose name slips me. But I gotta say, Barca, a bit more varied than Madrid, of course, because of you're not just an all white in your home kit. Now, 23-24, of course, now the first two seasons with the Spotify umbrella. Personally, I think the 22-23 home kit is more appealing than the 23-24, if only because of the more varied color patterns. I think makes it stand out a bit more to me. Of course, Barca had the Rolling Stones collaboration, which was a bit funny to see the Rolling Stones as your tifo. It's one of really you don't. Of course, Rolling Stones. I suppose I'm a bit too young, but Rolling Stones are a bit iconic. But it's always a bit interesting to have like literally an advertisement as your as your quote unquote tifo. You want to see that at too many other clubs. This one I think is interesting. If only for the cross. But you think about Bayer Leverkusen's home jersey this season has a similar structure, but is appealing. Now some of these jerseys from 21-22, I honestly I can't remember these like looking iconic, but they must have been more. But personally, I think they do look pretty good, if only for my simple taste of like they are interesting patterns that you just don't see too much. Similar to this one, I think it is. This one's a bit pushing it a bit, but in a certain setting, I can definitely see it being an appealing jersey. But those are definitely pushing the envelope. I think this one, 1920, or like your checkerboard pattern, I think is appealing. Yeah, is very Bartha, if you want. Now, notice I haven't really mentioned too many of the away kits. I think a lot of like with the some of their other kits, they try to make it like right the yellow and red, very clear, or orange and red, very clearly, Catalonian, as we can compare it to the crest. I don't think either of those are crazy appealing. Uh, Qatar Airways, it's not so much because like they're that appealing visually. Like, I think compared to some of your more contemporary, not as clean, but just because right, the Qatar Airways era has got to be associated with some like the more iconic, Messi and Barca moments. On to Manchester. If we take a look at more iconic shirts, definitely AIG era, Vodafone, a bit more iconic. None of the jerseys this season I think are too great. I don't mind the third kit. I do appreciate the minimalism of the crest. I think similar to like that Milan third kit from last season. I think similar. It is. I do appreciate minimalism, but the away kit, that's just not an appealing color. And the home kit, just the patterning isn't that distinctive or appealing. I think last season's like nothing crazy, but it is, like the collar does, fill in the gaps. Okay, but you have your white away. Again, like, very clean, but right, I think like the patterns kind of, I don't know if these are meant to be roses in reference, like whatever, historical connotations, but it just makes the kit to me a bit more messy. And certainly to agree, like if someone's gonna like, if you're gonna own a kit, you have to like maintain it and worry about like things getting dirty, and if it's that intricate patterning, odds are that something's probably gonna go wrong sooner. I do think that this third kit is a pretty good one. Of course, this season, right, again, more iconic Ronaldo moments um, in this season. Wearing this kit specifically, like Ronaldo's performance against like Villarreal. But again, I think this one's very clean. Team Viewer, not the greatest sponsor, but um, not as intrusive. Chevrolet, I think it was a pretty iconic sponsor. This tan one, I think, is pretty good looking. This pink one, I think, also pretty good looking. But yeah, so Manchester United, nothing crazy. Not the best kits in the world. Liverpool, also not the greatest kits in the world. I think their home kit is definitely very distinctive and iconic, but nothing world beating. The away, personally, I don't mind the away kit. I do think that the quote unquote Minecraft creeper hardening, to me it's not bad. But yeah, honestly, none of the English clubs have that distinctive of kits, the degree that other clubs do. Um, this away kit, it's not bad. Again, like standard charter. Maybe it's the finance person than me, but can't argue against a noble bank for a kit. But again, as we see, right, the home kit's very uh, similarly structured with the red, which again isn't a bad thing, right? Especially when it's that strongly associated. Uh, Arsenal. This is all. We'll get to it. Firstly, this season's. I think a lot of people like this season's home kit. Right. Again, distinctive Gunners, Gooners, right? Red. The gold plating probably is doing something to help out. Personally, I think I liked last season's a bit better. To me, the collars doing something for me. Whereas the gold, it not so much. Maybe it's just like the whiting around it kind of detracts from it. But again, like the rest of the kits, maybe you like this one, but to me, it's uh, a bit out there. But yeah, clearly from the rating, right? Not the best. It's a bit too vague. But yeah, this season, all black, right? And here, that all black, right, lets the gold plating stand out and work. Nothing too wild about other Arsenal. Of course, we have Puma Emirates versus Adidas Emirates. Now Bayern Munchen, these guys have some pretty good kits. None of them, these two this season. I suppose the away kit is very distinctive with the purple. It's very unique. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of it, especially when I compare it to other jerseys they have. Like this, all not like much more all white, but it does have a very distinctive patterning, minimalist throwback logo or crest. I think is appealing. And in the Oktoberfest one, I think even more distinctive, green, even more distinctive, flower patterning. I think is a very banger jersey. We keep on scrolling down. Who would have thought that T-Mobile would be a good would have good jerseys or it would look good on a jersey like this one, right? Gold plate again, gold plating for whatever reason, really sticks out, and especially if you're a club that has a noticeable crest, maybe you've got some stars to represent, continental or domestic triumphs. Some areas like these, right? It's like a strong color but very distinctive. Um, this goes for a lot of these kits. This season, maybe we're pushing it a bit. Uh, this is actually pretty interesting. Nice patterning. Maybe a bit more artsy. Can't complain too much. Uh, Third kit this season, I think that's pretty appealing to the patterning. This year's third kit, again, Bayern Munich, like just so many things that hit. I mean, it is Bayern, of course, the biggest, or certainly most internationally recognized club. Um, this home kit, pretty good in my view. Very clean patterning. Um, and then we have a bit more throwback Bayern. Chelsea, again, right? English clubs, nothing too crazy, right? Not like this season. I don't hate Infinite Athlete as a sponsor. Don't think it's too bad, but the overall structure of the jersey, like your white under the arms, to me, it's not doing anything. I personally, I think three, the I believe it was a crypto related firm. I think the three didn't look bad in my view. I think like this third kit, not bad for it. Uh, yeah, to me, like the three, works pretty well. I do think the Yokohama tires also is pretty a pretty good looking sponsor. I wouldn't expect how long the name is, but again, right, none of these jerseys are quite that iconic. Of course, we did mention Juventus and the old lady, so we've got to take a look at them. I think, and Juventus, I think, have pretty iconic jerseys. Like this pink, pink striping, I think looks pretty good. Jeep, Jeep is a pretty good shirt sponsor in my view. And as much I know there was a lot of controversy over the changing of the crest, but uh, as we saw, like, the Minnesota state flag becoming minimalist, which definitely highlights the critiques of minimalism. But I do think the Juventus crest does look pretty cool. I think like again like the home white and black works really well. This season the gold does take away from it in my view, but this 1920 is an iconic jersey right here. This 1920 to me just like white, black, and you have your nice pink striping in the middle. Like like this one to me looks good. Pair with some black shorts. In the season, Juventus paired it with a combination. Like some James, if it's some half the season they wore black shorts, other half they wore white shorts. I think like the black makes it go really well. But yeah, this one I think the striping's very distinctive and clean, which is appreciated. And of course, Juventus is not complete if we don't talk about Ronaldo's first season with the club wearing this jersey, right? Black, 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 just going down the middle and looks very, very good. So any of older Juventus, which only has its iconic moments, but Juventus I think have uh, pretty good. Some are pushing the agenda, but not bad. Moving back to France, let's go to Marseille. Um, CMA, CGN, of course, the shipping company. Nothing very white. I think this one, it's nothing crazy, but I think it does work. I think the Olympique Marseille crest, I think, is a good looking crest. Of course, it's a star for winning the only French team to win the European Championship. The away kit, I do debate like you can wear this in the woods, if you want to, uh, wear it in the fall, for that look, but don't hate it. Last season against Sweet All White, I think this one, probably would pick this one over the current away. Um, but Marseille can't argue, and especially I do think it's a bit fun to see Uber Eats as a shirt sponsor, so can't argue against that. But of course, Marseille, one of Marseille's rivals is Lyon, and here Lyon have some pretty good jerseys. This one, right? The gold does work, and here we have your asymmetrical stripe. You have your French flag coloring. I think looks really good. And then this one, I think it's very modern and whatnot, but like, it looks good. Toss some Microsoft Paint. But again, right? So similar to PSG, as I suppose Lyon's jerseys are kind of like the companions of PSG in terms of like relatively similar patterns. Of course, with a jersey, there's only so many variations you can make to it. Uh, I think like this looks good. Same with this one. Like just like a very iconic like striping and asymmetry. Again, right? Fly Emirates. Can't hate against that. Yeah, so Lyon have some uh, good jerseys. Let's go to Atletico. Now, Atletico has one jersey in particular that is extremely uh, appealing to me, which is this all black one. To me, is just like 5 stars right here. Right? See, like it's extremely hard to find because it's 4 years ago, so it's hard to find. Very hard to find. I get to find it. Um, but clear crest. The shirt sponsor is not offensive. But just like the red and black, it just screams, Cholissimo with Atleti and Simeone. And to me, it's just clean, the iconic moments with the comeback victory against Liverpool in Anfield. To me, just works really well. The Riyadh Air for this season, I'm not against. Like I'm not against the sponsor because it's Saudi. Like personally, like Roma, uh, like Roma has a Saudi sponsor in Riyadh season. It's a hotel company, which I think actually looks pretty good. But Riyadh Air, like that R, to me, it's a bit. I suppose like it's supposed to be a bird, but to me, it's a bit Wellfin. Not the best with the .com, but it's. Uh, of course, you have Atleti's old colors. This one, yeah, not this. This one I think is pretty good. Wear in the dark. Retro again. The collar, can't go wrong with that. I don't mind the Atleti paint jersey. I don't mind it again, right? If you want to have the Atleti, red and white, I'd probably end up picking, this. Uh, But yeah, I just really want to highlight that 1920 Atletico away because that is just uh, pure iconic stuff right there. Let's see. Uh, yes, how could we forget about Dorman? And of course, Dorman already has your white and or yellow and black. I think this one actually it looks a bit funny, but if you're wearing black shorts, like it fits. Of course, representing the stadium, I think this one is pretty clean. Uh, Here we see this all black one to me. It's a bit much, all being all black, but it's definitely distinctive. I do like this one to me, right? The asymmetry of me to me is very appealing. A one and one, honestly, it's a chemical company, or it's insurance company. I'm pretty sure. Um, but I but I don't hate it. I do think actually it's symmetry within asymmetry, uh, which ain't bad. Uh, but yeah, Dormer, of course, very distinctive. Bumblebee, quote unquote aesthetic to it. This Benfica jersey to me is not. It to me is pretty cool. Like very distinctive coloring. Uh, Looks very nice. Again, right? Fly Emirates, can't go wrong with that. Benfica more broadly, yeah, nothing too crazy. Ajax, of course, this is the quote unquote Bob Marley jersey, and to me, like it does look pretty good, right? Red and black, again, a bit of a sucker for those colors, and then you have very distinctive, Rastafari colors, and it works. Like it's a clean jersey that's distinctive and looks good. And of course, Ajax have had some. There's something varied in their kits. None of theirs. I think their home jersey this season. If you want an Ajax home jersey, this is probably as good as you can get. Um, they had this 18-19, of course, when they beat Real Madrid, uh, and Juventus, I believe, it's pretty distinctive. I mean, I can't say that Ajax they get on target, but very distinctive, and they certainly try, which is appreciated. Probably not going to talk too much about national team jerseys, although this is a quick one. But this French away to me is pretty cool. If you have like your actual various French moments, and they actually wear it as jersey in matches. So it's to me it's a pretty cool looking jersey. And actually, France has had a couple has had a number of pretty iconic or good looking jerseys in my view. Um, this home jersey again, it's not too crazy, but it really does let the French chicken crest come and just play. This one I think also looks pretty good. It's nothing crazy, but it's just very clean. You know, French Football Federation, red, blue. Uh, can't hate the wish. Honestly, I do think Everton. I do think the Stake.com shirt sponsor. I don't mind it. To me, it looks like it's a bit goofy, but I don't mind it. And then you have like your little patterns on the collar. Like that is pretty smooth in my view. Um, ToxicKick.com again, it's a bit goofy looking, but it's pretty distinctive. This Bayer Leverkusen again, the cross right. Uh, looks pretty distinctive. It's good looking to me. This Fiorentina, right? There it is. Like the flowers, like it's a bit out there, but I think you have your fleur de. Is that fleur de lis? Not sure. Fleur de lis in the crest maybe, but again, I think very distinctive and pretty elegant. Uh, this Besiktas, right? The Fevers. This Inter jersey, of course, as a Milan fan, of course, it's a bit can't pay too much credence, but uh, it is, the sash is like it does look good, and the Paramount Plus, it's not a is pretty good. This Sevilla kit, like, very modern, but looks pretty cool. Right, single patterning, no shirt sponsor, sounds pretty nice. This New York Red Bull, it is pushing the envelope a bit with the graffiti. But to me, like if you want a certain image of New York, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with this. Uh, Another team gotta give a shout out to is Galatasaray. The Lions of the Bosphorus. I think the orange and red, you don't see that too often in a shirt kit. Yeah, so I think Galatasaray, pretty distinctive, red and black. But I think the season is pretty good. The away kit's also pretty clean. But you gotta pay a shout out to Galatasaray Lions with the Bosphorus. This Burnley jersey, to me, pretty good looking with like your pixelation, like intentional aging. Looks pretty good. But of course, they went back to something more simpler, which isn't as great. Another club to give a shout out to is Leeds United. Not too much of a fan of this jersey. Right, box is a it's like a home repair company of some sort. But this away kit to me is very very clean. You have your gold, you have your red and black striping. It's a good jersey. It's a good jersey right here. Um, but yeah, that's pretty good timing. I'm about to run out of battery. Oh, got a shot Roma. Got a shot Roma. Um, but yeah, so here, like Riyadh season. Honestly, I think the Riyadh season, like, it looks good. Like I I know I did take a shot at minimalism before, but I think this does look, it looks clean to me. I think like this logo is actually a pretty cool logo and sponsor to have. Um, the home kits, like the SBQR is pretty iconic with the wolf, of course, for Rome. But yeah, Roma, yes, pretty good jersey. And of course, if I talk about Roma, I'm talking about most of the big Italian clubs. So I've got to also give a shout out to the SSC Napoli. Uh, the blue, not the biggest fan of like the blue, but I do think that their black third kit looks pretty good. I think I can see it in action. Is very, again, right, letting the MSC logo shine through. Uh, but yeah, that's just some of the football kits that I personally enjoy. But again, Football Kit Archive is a great website. But again, right, I think football jerseys make for pretty decent streetwear, and of course, eBay and um, digging around can find you some jerseys at fair prices. But thanks for watching, and